All right, guys. So we are continuing our Let's Get It Right writing series, and we're talking about comparison and contrast and their structure. There are multiple structures that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about four, okay? And out of these four, we in our class we will be using two that you guys are familiar with for the first semester. And then the second semester, when I have you all write another essay, you'll be able to add another framework or continue to use the frameworks that you like if that option is available. Because I like to challenge you all. So, the first framework, and when we're thinking about frameworks, I want you to think about how something is built, the structure, okay, for comparison and contrast is similarities and differences. You can do this in uh, 4 paragraphs for the most part. Your first one, of course, would be introduction, and then your first body paragraph will be to discuss how both of those subjects are alike. And then the second body paragraph will be to discuss how they are different. And of course, you will conclude it. So to the right of the screen, I have provided an example for you all. And I want you to pause it and I want you to take some time to see how this is structured. You will see the topic sentence in each of the body paragraphs. They are acting as the tour guide. They're telling me what I am going to expect to read about in that particular paragraph. And that is so important. Here are a few graphic organizers for you so that you can refer back to. I prefer the one on the right because it talks to you about your introduction. You need to have a thesis statement, and that thesis statement needs to connect to your subject, so your paragraph. So you have the topic, sentence, and supporting details is going to connect back to um, your thesis statement. Whatever you talk about in your thesis statement, your thesis statement, your thesis statement, your thesis statement, it should introduce the subjects that you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about one subject in body paragraph 1, and then another subject in body paragraph 2. Not introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. Then the next framework is subject by subject, subject by subject. So your body paragraph will discuss the features in the first subject. And then in the second paragraph, you will compare and contrast the features of subject 2 with your features of uh, the first body paragraph. For example, if body paragraph 1 was discussing the features of a hamburger from McDonald's, what body paragraph 2 would do um, is compare and contrast Burger King's features with what you said in body paragraph 1. So it is different from the previous framework. This is subject by subject. So you're going to introduce the first subject, and then in the second body paragraph is where you're going to compare and contrast the features that you mentioned in the first body paragraph with your second subject. When I'm talking about subject, I'm talking about author. For example, in this case, body paragraph 1 may talk to us about how Anna Quindlen uses diction. Body paragraph 2 will be to compare and contrast how Anna Quindlen uses diction with how Kennedy uses diction. So you're comparing and contrasting. It's like a tennis match. You're going back and forth. And again, here are graphic organizers to help your thinking. So, as I previously stated, Body paragraph 1, you're going to discuss subject 1. Body paragraph 2, you're going to discuss subject 2, which will be your second author. And then you're going to compare it with subject 1 or contrast it with subject 1. So if you're talking about Anna Quindlen's use of diction in body paragraph 1, in body paragraph 2, you're going to first discuss John F. Kennedy, and then you're going to compare his use of diction with Anna Quindlen's. And not just his use of diction, his purpose, his perspective. I'm going to give you those tips a little bit later. So the next one is feature by feature, which I love. I love feature by feature, and I have a graphic organizer that I'm going to attach here because I feel like feature by feature is a little bit easier for you all. So what you will do is you're going to compare and contrast one feature at a time with both subjects. So the first body paragraph, you can compare and contrast diction, how the diction creates a tone, right? Then the second body paragraph, you could talk about how the diction helps to show just the purpose. In the third body paragraph, you could compare and contrast their use of language. So of course, this one is very easy, but it requires you all to critically think. So you have to have read the text and you have to identify how the authors, you got to identify their craft. And when I'm talking about craft, I'm simply talking about how did they use their words to demonstrate their purpose? How did they use diction? Did they use imagery? Did they use syntax? Did they use language? And of course, we know the answer to most of these are yeah, they did. And so then you have to think about how they used it. All right. So here is a graphic organizer to show you all how you got to think about it. You got to think about the feature. If I'm talking about diction, how does subject 1 use it? And that's author 1. Subject 2, author 2. How did they use it? What's another feature that they use? Oh, syntax, the way that they structured the sentences. So how did subject 1 use it? Subject 2. Then you move on to another feature, which would probably be mood or rhetorical appeals. So things of that nature. So then the last one is compare, contrast, connect. This is another easy one. This is another easy one. So body paragraph 1 will summarize the important features of subject 1. And then body paragraph 2 will summarize the features of subject 2 or author 2 by contrasting it against subject 1. So, for example, let's say your first body paragraph, you want to summarize how Anna Quindlen used diction. And you're doing this for the basis of comparison in the second paragraph. So then you go to the second body paragraph and you're going to summarize the features of John F. Kennedy by contrasting it against Anna Quindlen. And then your body paragraph, your third body paragraph, you would connect the two subjects. You would show how important they are. How important their use of diction is, okay? So take some time, read over the example, and look, you guys can use like some of the words, the transition words. You see that they're talking about similar. Okay, so that lets you know that this paragraph is about to contrast or compare what was said in the previous paragraph. Okay, so again, you see your introduction, and then you have, and I don't know if you guys can see me pointing, I hope so. And then you have your body paragraph 1, your body paragraph 2, your body paragraph 3, which is the connection, okay? Let me see. Oh, there it is. So this is what I'm talking about right here, okay? So this is your introduction. This is your conclusion. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3. And again, we have graphic organizers for you, okay? So paragraph, not your introduction, body paragraph 1, you got your topic sentence, your supporting details, same thing in all of your paragraphs, okay? So if I were you, I would read over your annotations. And if you hadn't annotated, it's going to come back to bite you. The next thing that I will do is I will reread or listen to the text again. This time you're focusing on the author's craft. You know what you are going to write about because it's in the previous video, the first video. Then I will make a T-chart and gather information that supports which craft you want to discuss. And remember, when I'm talking about craft, I'm talking about how the author uses the words, not just diction, not just syntax, not just language, the skill. Do we see metaphors? Do we see similes? Um, are we looking at tone? Are we looking at mood? All of these things go into the author's craft. Then I would um, craft an outline. So here is my tip. Listen to my tip. If I were you, I would do this. My setup would be introduction. Paragraph 1 is where I will talk about text 1. Okay? So let me rephrase it. Introduction. Body paragraph 1. I'm going to talk about text 1. Body paragraph 2. I will talk about text 2. Body paragraph 3. I will discuss how they are similar depending on what you said, or how they are different depending on what you said. So if body paragraph 1, you're talking about the diction. And remember, you are talking about diction, how that diction created a tone, how that tone reveals the author's perspective on the topic, how that tone and that diction reflects the author's purpose. You're talking about the rhetorical appeal. You're talking about all of that in that first body paragraph. And then you're going to do the same thing in the second body paragraph, talking about your second author. And then your third body paragraph will discuss how they are alike or how they are different. That's my tip. That's my tip for you. The next thing I would do is I would review the writing handbook that is in your resources page. Once you click home, you'll see English in the rainbow letters to the right. You would see resources. Click that. You have a plethora of resources there. I will review my sentence patterns because Ms. Bond is checking for those. I will review my vocabulary. I will read the rubric. What not to turn in. If you turn in, and even though this is a draft, and you have a run-on sentence or a fragment, I am not going to grade your paper. You will get a 0. If I see that you're using first person, which is I, me, my, we, our, us, I am not going to grade your paper. If I see misspelled words, I am not going to grade your paper. If I see you overusing the author said, I'm gonna grade it. But after the third time I see said, I'm gonna take off a few points. I need for you all to use your resources, okay? I need for you to use your resources and not have someone do the work for you. If you want this opportunity, fight for it. All right, guys, have a good one.